How do you approach your mixdown? Do you mix while you go? Do you have a specific strategy, a specific workflow for it? If not, this video is for you. I'm going to share 3 thoughts on how to approach a mixdown, so let's jump in. Hey friends, Silvano here from roughandstudio.com. In this video I'm going to share 3 simple processes that helps you to get faster mixing results with a simple strategy plan. So let's jump in. If your tracks looks like something like this one, like this session here, you know, it's random colors, random names, nothing is ordered. Here is a reference track. Here on the very top of MIDI channel, here are some basses. I don't even know what this is. I don't know what this is. Kick maybe? Yeah, kick. Jeez, what's that? Massive? No idea, man, no idea. Okay, some synth part. This one? No, basses. I found this synth line that I just soloed was too loud. Now I'm searching for it. Crazy, right? I don't know which one it was. You know what I mean? And you know where I'm going to, where I want to go with this, right? So let's assume we are a band and we want to record a track in the studio. So what we are going to do, we go to the studio, right? Your friend is singing there, another friend from your band is playing the guitar, the drums, the basses, whatever, and there's probably an audio engineering sitting in the control room and hit record, recording the best parts, cutting them out, whatever. But the important thing, if you think about this, is the band just comes in, they have the tracks ready, right? And someone else is recording that stuff. Of course, there are some home recording people out there, but if you think about the classical example from an old studio environment, right? From this point on, the band just lets record their track, and then the audio engineer is going to mix that track. Maybe it's not even the same audio engineer, right? So there is a recording engineer, there's a mix engineer, there's a mastering engineer. Sometimes it's the same person for all 3 things, but there are 3 different job models, right? And now you see where this goes. You as a electronic music producer, you have different jobs. You have sound designer, you have production, arrangement, you have mixing, you have mastering, maybe even. Those are 5 things already. This is a lot of work. That's where my first thought is going. So the first thought is dividing the whole process. Now there are some people who actually get good results with mixing while they go, right? While they produce music. But I think they could do better if they would divide the process maybe. And if this is you, maybe you can give it a try. So I would divide it into production, mixing, and maybe even mastering if you master your own tracks. There are different mindsets behind it, right? Because in production you spit out, you are in the creative flow. I wouldn't even think about putting up a compressor and controlling and tweaking EQs or whatever. I would just produce, having fun, and then save it as a new file, mixing file, and then go from there a day or 2 later. And then there's a different part of the brain working, which is the critical listening. Then you go like a technician, you really listen with some distance, thinking, oh man, here maybe I should put a compressor on this pad, maybe the kick needs a little bit more punch. But just do a rough mix during your production so the level got right. Yeah, you probably have some effects already there, anyway, but to take it further and more in detail, more detailed, I would in the mixing process. How I would approach this is by sticking to a certain track order, right? So how I structure it is basically I have on top some reference files, maybe a track or whatever. If I need to, maybe the rough mix, this could be your rough mix. Then I have the basses, sub bass, mid bass, and I have kick, clap, hi-hats, toms, percussion elements, then the synthesizers, and at the very end I have some sound effects, transition sounds, whatever. And sometimes if there are any texture sounds, maybe I put it into the synth group or in a separate one. But I have a strict order of tracks, right? Because if I say, oh, I need to tweak, I'm down here and I need to adjust the kick, I instantly know it's probably the third track in the session. Not like before, in the example before, in the production session, where I needed to search for the actual file. In this way, I instantly know it's on top and the bass is on top. Just move up, bam, here it is. Okay, so next thing is I group certain things together, right? So I group the basses, the drums, of course, kick, and I also group the claps. And this is one reason why I actually updated to Ableton 10, because it lets you create groups within groups, right? So this is the this is the drum group, and within this drum group I can create another group for the claps. So if you have some layers of claps, I like to group the tracks together, the claps together, and also group the hi-hats together, because those two things are often too loud in the mix, right? So if I listen back to the audio file 1 or 2 days later and I found, oh, those hi-hats are too loud, I can just go quickly to the group and just turn down a few dBs the hi-hats in one go with one click, and same goes for claps. Percussions also grouped together, synthesizer grouped together, and sound effects like transition sounds, whatever, is also grouped together. Next thing, as you can see already, I stick to a color scheme. I stick to a color scheme. So basses are always red, drums always orange, percussion always yellow, synths always green, and the FX sounds always in this color. Third thought is to add some add-ons, right? I put in some send effects. I put in a small reverb, a mid-sized reverb, and a large reverb. Some creative sends, maybe, I don't know, this could be cowboy, whatever. Some delays, but I don't use delays too often from the sends. I tend to use reverbs. And then on the master channel, I insert a mono button. I do it with this one and assign it to a key, so I can instantly reference in mono. I have the adapter from Plugin Alliance, so you could put in your rough mix here and compare your current mix against your rough mix, see if you improve, or reference to another producer's tracks, right? I have many here inside that I reference to, and yeah, this is actually my reference chain. I've saved it as a template, and that's it already. So it's everything clean, ready to go, ready to get into the flow for technical aspects of things like mixing. I believe this saves a lot of headache and a lot of time doing it that way, and it also can probably improve the quality of your mixdowns, I guess. And then the next thing that I would do is starting obviously the mixing process. This could be maybe adjusting the levels again a little bit. Then I would start with EQing the low end, EQing the lows where it's not needed. Maybe on the clap there are lows, maybe on some synthesizer pads or low end frequencies that are not needed. Then third, I will probably work on the kick and bass to get the balance right. Then I would work on the drum bass if it's needed some automation, and then finally working on the master channel. So yeah, that's how I would do it to get into the flow mode, but there is no recipe, of course. If it works for you, produce and mix and sound design in one session, in one go, that's totally fine. Just stick to it. But maybe you can give this a try and see if you get the better mixing results. Maybe you get it, or maybe not. So to sum this up, number one, dividing the process, creative and technical parts. Number two, stick to a track order. Number three, color labeling the tracks, always the same. Number four, inserting some add-ons, some utilities like a reference track, set up reverb sense, add in a mono button, maybe a spectrum analyzer if you need to. And yeah, next step, number five already, I don't know, start the mixing process. Now, two things I want you to do. So number one is write on a piece of paper or to a post-it to what track order you want to stick from now on if you want to use this strategy. And number two, also write the color labeling for your mixing template, and then use it every time you mix your tracks. And the second thing I want you to do is download my 7-step low-end checklist. If you need help with low-end, getting the kick and the bass part right, it's completely for free, of course. There you will find some techniques, some tools to train your critical listening to actually get this technical part right, the mixing part. It's so fundamental to get the kick and the bass part right, especially in underground music. And yeah, go and download it if you like. I hope it helps. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your time. Cheers.